Okay guys, so this tutorial is going to be pretty quick. It's not going to be very technical. It's just going to be a hopefully an easy way for you to use your Cryptovoxels creations and make a Snapchat filter out of it pretty easily. I'm going to use some programs that you're going to have to download ahead of time um, to make your filter, but I think it should be pretty easy. Okay, so what you're going to need before you actually get started is you're going to have to download Blender, and I'll post links below. You're going to have Snapchat on your phone, and also you're going to have to download Lens Studio on your computer, and that's what you use, the program that you use to make Snapchat filters. And it is really helpful if you have a webcam to fit the head onto your body, but we're going to try and do it without, because they do provide you with some models in Snapchat that will help you navigate your Vox model onto the head. And again, this is just a quick, not very technical video, and it's just purely right now to put a head wearable on your head and bind it on your head so it moves with your head. And yeah, I think it's really fun, and I think it's very easy. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I should say it's very doable without having any technical knowledge, like myself. So let's get started. What else do you need? One thing that I like to have ahead of time is an icon made, and the icon you'll be using later at the final stages for Snapchat, and it's to ID your filter, so it gives viewers an idea of what your filter is. And let's see. Yeah. So one of the first things you're gonna have to do, because if you are in Cryptovoxels, you probably have your Magicavoxel file. So I'm gonna make this head into a wearable. So what I'm gonna have to do first is open up Magicavoxel, of course, and export it as an OBJ. I'm gonna save it on my desktop because it'll be easier and faster for me to find. And that's the first step. And the second step is we're going to open up Blender. And Blender, if you're not familiar, is a very, I would say, complicated program that lets you do a lot of things. But we're just purely using it to convert that OBJ file we just exported and turning it into an FBX. So when you open up Blender, you're going to have this screen. You just click off of it to close that. And there's a lot of stuff on here, but we're just going to ignore all of it. And we're going to go to File. We're going to scroll down to Import, and we're going to import that OBJ file that I just saved. So let's see, Face Demo. Oh, and you want to make sure you select the OBJ file. Import. You're going to have something that looks like this. I'm using the middle mouse button to press and spin around. I want to delete this square, so I highlight it and delete. And then you don't see any colors, but all the textures and colors will be combined when you export it as an FBX. So don't worry about it that it looks grayscale. Go to Export and hit FBX. Again, I'm going to save this on my desktop and rename it something easy. Let's see. Export. I don't think I saved it where I wanted it to. Just gonna redo it. Export. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. So once you have that exported as an FBX, again, it's gonna look like this. It's fine. You're done with Blender, and now you can go to the Lens Studio. And for Lens Studio, you want to have it already connected to your Snapchat account. If not, at the end we can work through it. You'll see how it's done. If you're not familiar with Lens Studio, there's a lot of templates on here. It's pretty easy to get started, I would say, but we're going to just start with a new project. They do have templates we could use to get this ball rolling, I guess you would say, but we're just going to start blank so you know how to do it from an empty project. So you hit new project on the left. And your Lens Studio might have a different setup. Mine's configured like this for now. And that's fine. And it's made up of like 5 basic panels. On the top left, you have your objects panel. Below it is your resources. In the middle is your scene. Looks like this. Sorry. If you're clicked on script graph editor, it has this graph, but you want to be on scene. And on the right is inspector, and you should have somewhere near it your camera. And like I said, it's helpful if you have a webcam, but they have it made so you can use their models, and you don't need a webcam. Okay, we're gonna pick somebody. He looks great. So what we're gonna do is now upload that asset we just made as an FBX or that file. So you go to resources, hit the plus button, scroll down. We're gonna select from files. And I should have saved on my desktop. And there it is. So you click it, hit open. And all these, I don't mess with these usually, if ever. But you can pause here and make sure yours are all checked the same. And then hit import. And there you have it. You now have your 3D item in Snapchat. You're gonna see they have almost like a duplicate. This face one at the top is just a texture type file that we don't use. The only thing we're really gonna use is this bottom file. So if it's closed, it looks like that. I'm gonna drop it down. We're gonna use this bottom file, face demo, and up in the right section here in the inspector panel, you'll see it says object prefab. So they prefabricated basically your model. So you click on it and drag it up to your objects panel. And you're gonna see it's very large. That's just how it is. What we're gonna do is select it. So you click on it. And we're going to go over here to scale in your inspector panel. I'm going to hit the links to lock it in so it changes all axes at the same time. And I'm just shrinking it now so it's workable. I'm going to change it again later. And as you can see, the color's imported and it's backwards, but we're going to fix that. The next thing we're going to do is go to your objects panel, make sure nothing's selected, hit the plus button, and you can go to face effects and select head binding, because the ultimate goal is to bind this head to our head. And then what we're going to do is select our little model here at the bottom. I'm going to drag her up to head binding, and you see how it's selected, it's just head binding. If I move it up, it'll go like that and include effects and camera. I just want it to put on head binding, so it's a child of it. And there you go. And now I'm going to rotate it and resize it more accurately. I'm also going to, at this time, turn off the lighting on that model. Okay, first let's spin her around. So up here you have these little icons, and that basically shows you different ways to move your model that you're on. So I'm going to rotate it, select that rotator. And if you're familiar with Magicavoxels, this is kind of similar with what we got working on when you're building. I'm going to drop the head down. It looks a little crooked to me. There we go. I'm going to press my middle mouse button. It moves it around like that. If I click my right mouse button, I can spin her around. So I'm looking at her on the side. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. You're going to see what's happening right here is the occluder is on. And it's a good way to see where the face is supposed to be in relationship with the camera, I guess. I'm going to turn it off. The occluder is kind of like if your wearable is just like glasses or a hat, you might want to have the occluder on, so then the glasses look more realistic and the head blocks off places where you wouldn't see, like the arms maybe. You can play around with it when you're using your wearables, and if it makes sense to have it on, turn it on. But for this, we don't want the head to show at all. We want it to be inside the model. Okay. So we got that. To me, it's not sitting quite right. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna shrink her head a little bit. Make sure you go back to the Vox model, face demo is what I called it, and then shrink it. Kinda cute. Okay. Turn that clip off. Kind of like to know where the face is supposed to be, kind of, in relationship. Alright, so that's kind of how we binded that Vox model called face demo to the head. And Snapchat has this thing where you can send it to your lens. So push it, it'll push this working project right now to Snapchat, to my account only. So then right now I'm going to my phone and I'm checking Snapchat, opening it up, and I'm scrolling to test out the model. And it looks like it is correct. And it's great, worked out fine. What we can do here is, let's see if I can open up. Okay, and there we have it. It's on my head. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it is what it is, and you can have, like, make a whole bunch of different things, really. If I put the occluder on, no, it's fine. Okay, so once you're happy with what you, your filter, you can go ahead up here to the top left and hit project info. And this is where you name it. Bubblegum face. Lens Studio only gives you 16 characters to name your lens, so you might have to fudge around with something that makes sense to you. But that seems to work. And this is where I told you needed an icon. A little JPEG or PNG. Where did I save it? That's one thing I always forget, where I save stuff. Face icon. Okay, there we go. And it's kind of big. If I was patient, I would resize it in Photoshop or something. But that's good enough for now. And here is your lens preview. You're going to want to select that and pick a model that best kind of shows how this filter is going to work. And we have it just as a head binding that works on as soon as you open the lens, which is called idle. It's also a type of object tracking. If you see here on the bottom of these lenses, it has descriptions. It kind of gives you an idea of what triggers your filter to work. So like in Smile, you can have your filter activate when it recognizes a smile on the screen. But like I said, ours is just idle type thing, so we're gonna pick, I'm gonna do object tracking. Takes a while to load. Well, that works fine. Hit apply. I've named it, says me the size, and because of the nature of Voxes, they're kind of large. I have it for use on your front camera or rear camera. You can do either. I'm not going to do a hint, but you can, if you, like I said, if you had it to activate when you smiled, you'd have it say now smile as a hint. But we're going to hit none, hit apply. Then I'm going to go ahead up here to the left and hit publish lens. Next, it's exporting it to Snapchat. Log in. And we are submitting a new lens. I should go back. It gives you two options, submit and update. So if, let's say I already submitted this and I was unhappy with it, I would fix it and then come to update, and it would copy over the old lens. But this is our first time doing this one, so we're gonna hit submit. The lens tags, you can click the little info. There's a search in Snapchat, so you can look up certain keywords and maybe your lens would pull up. So I'll do that. And then scan triggers, it's a person. Our filter is activated by a person's face, so I hit person. And this is if you want it hidden, your filter, or public. I'm just going to make this hidden for now. And it's only going to be shareable by a code or a link. If you were to make it public, it's searchable on the Snapchat. And anyone could use it. Then we hit submit lens. And you get this happy dancing red panda. It tells you you did a good job. And you go to manage my lens. And you'll see here it's in review. So every lens that gets submitted does get reviewed by Snapchat. They do, I guess, look for certain things like smoking, probably drugs, that they would not approve. You might try it and it would get through, but sometimes it gets pulled. I do like Lens Studio because the status gets cleared pretty fast, I'd say within 15 minutes. And looks like this one has already been approved because the status is hidden. So if I go back to all lenses, yeah, so this is active right now. I can download the snap code. And you can scan this. I'll take you to the lens. Or you can go ahead and hit this share lens button, and it gives you a link, and you can go ahead and email that to anybody, post it on Twitter. And yeah, I think that's about it. There might be some things I went too fast over or completely missed, but please let me know if this helped you. I think this is so wonderful for Magicavoxels and people building wearables. It's just fun and makes very accessible. And the entry is so low for this. You don't need to wait long. You don't need a Facebook account. You just go ahead and do this and you can start creating. So yeah, if you make anything, let me know. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. And take care, guys. Have fun.